Hi everyone, welcome to the 13th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by a couple of people, Catherine Tallman and Sam Dorielan.
Yay!
Yay!
Fun. And as always, I'd like to thank Casey McNichol for her continued support and for making sure that our operation is running smoothly. And I know you guys are I gave you a little bit of a gist of about what the show is about as a way for me to get to know my friends on a deeper level because I've met so many interesting people here at Quinnipiac, such as yourselves. So kind of with that said, how about we get into things? So guys, how about you tell us a bit about yourselves?
We're Sam and Kat. We started our TV show back in 2014.
You're done.
I came from the cast of iCarly, and she came
Cut his mic. I'll start us.
I'm so sorry. I'm such a jokester.
Wow.
We may be Sam and Kat, but
Sounds victorious.
we have our own. We have a reboot, and we brought that to Quinnipiac University, and I mean we're both seniors. I'll speak for myself. I'm a communications media major, film minor, and I was involved in the QUNLA program that I'll speak upon later. But I'm so happy to be here. This is my first time in this special podcast room and on your podcast, so I feel very special. So I'm very happy to be sitting right here.
Yes. I'm a senior film, television, media arts major. What else? What else do I do? I was a part of the LA program. You know, the Q30, the Quinnipiac Tonight, the hashtag that.
Yep.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, all the fun stuff.
You're an RA.
I am an RA. I have 40 kids I got to take care of at home. I do. They need to be fed. They need to be bathed. That is my job. That is my job.
Awesome. And kind of what are your, well, I know you said your major. What's your specific major?
I wish I was a film major. Being communications media is a little different. And now that I see my capstone project, the film one is so cool because you get to make your movie and you have a tangible product to submit and have the experience outside of the tangible product, but you have that experience of working on an awesome piece of film. But my communications one is almost kind of PR-like. I have to choose a problem within a company and basically fix it. So, I mean, to some degree, it's kind of a fantasy project, and I don't want to claim it as such because it's practical. I have the experience of and going through the analysis of a corporation facing an issue. So, I mean, I'm blessed in that degree, but all my film classes have been so cool. And I mean, when I walk out of here with my degree, I feel like I'm just going to run to a set. So, I mean, not to hijack your interview, I was going to ask Sam, I was going to say, do you feel as though your experience as a film major maybe dimmed your passion, just in the sense where people say don't study what you're passionate about, like artists don't study music because then you'll get sick of doing music?
Well, I've actually been feeling this starting this year because I'm in the 4+1 master's program. So that part, that's actually the class I have in 20 minutes. But I came into Quinnipiac wanting to be a producer. Like, that was always the goal. I didn't really know much about what directors, producers, assistant directors really did. So I thought the producers were just the people who really don't control the behind the camera necessarily, but just more around the set, every element, lights, actors, cameras, outfits. And getting into the program, the classes, they teach you what producers do, and it's a lot. You're doing a lot of math, bro.
Wow.
You're doing the budget. Basically, what Nicole's doing for our capstone. You're doing. You're doing a lot of math. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because it is, something within a project that I would be passionate about. But I am way more a creative person. I don't want to do any paperwork. The only paperwork I want to dive into is a script. I don't want to do any budgets. I want to be in the creative world. So then, just this little class that I'm in right now, which is one of my favorite classes, because all we talk about is just industry stuff, what you actually do, how to get into it. I like a TV set, so maybe show running or just, a producer that's not doing the budget, anything like that. So it's not necessarily of studying your passion, but I think it's finding out the ticks, finding out what you like and what you don't like.
Good answer.
So that's my take on it. I don't know if you ever had this experience, Ryan.
I mean, I was gonna say literally me to about everything you were just saying. Someone who's creative and doesn't like the math of it all.
Yeah.
And that's as poignant of a question. That's a more poignant question than I think I could ask. And that was a really great, interesting thing to hear about, and it kind of goes into exactly what we're going to talk about here, which is kind of to begin with our first topic, where your interests for communications and Q30 kind of stemmed from.
Well, in high school, I don't know if any of you guys had this, but like my announcements, like, you know, when they do the morning announcements, it was more on like the little TVs like in each room. So we had like a broadcasting class, so we would film that. And in my senior year, I was kind of like the leader of the class. So I kind of had some relations within Q30, just like controlling the control room, editing on your own, doing funny segments and skits.
They
like
had
that.
a control room?
Yeah, like a little room.
Was it every day?
Well, it was like it was. 'Cause
Whoa, we had it on
class.
Fridays. Like on Fridays there was a video, but obviously we had morning announcements every day.
Yeah. So, but my class wouldn't do it every day because there's obviously multiple like classes of like different people. So like we would take turns of what face around the announcements, but we would still film like skits of like if there was a play or if there's like a fundraiser, we would do like a little commercial per se.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
Me neither.
I had a little media production class in high school that I did take, but I remember I would edit everything on iMovie, and you kind of used your phone.
Yeah.
It was
like a little TikTok back in the day.
Yeah, you were doing whatever you could to get something really cool. It was awesome. Me and my group made a 30 Rock spinoff called 2 Park Ave, because that's where the school was. And it was funny. It was ridiculous. But I guess for Q30, my involvement, I just wanted to come to school. Obviously, we have so many clubs. So when you go to the involvement fair as a freshman, you're like,
where do I go?
Who am I going to be? So I didn't start it originally freshman year. I joined sophomore year and then went through different shows to see where I fit the best. But I don't know. I'm just thinking about I did have 1 year at Quinnipiac tonight. I had one semester at Quinnipiac tonight, and I
can see that. Yeah.
I didn't go back because I wanted to do hashtag, and I know everyone was like, you could do both, but I felt like the entertainment news was more me than the skit comedy, which is very shocking. Very shocking. I didn't think that would be my cup of tea, but I really liked it, and that's what I love about Q30 is that there's all these different rooms to go into, and so Quinnipiac is so good, and I'm so happy you're here to enjoy the communications, because that's why I came here. I came here for QUNLA, and I knew that the communications school was this divine.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's cool, like, to hear, like, Sam, that you had like a Q30 junior at your school, which kind of in a very similar way, where it could kind of teach kind of young people how to film, how to create films, and the different variants of it, like being able to create, like what you said with your school with the 30 Rock parody. First thing was in my head, I'm like, oh, like Quinnipiac Tonight. That's what the Quinnipiac Tonight would do with Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see where it led to and the amazing things that you were able to do once you got here.
Yeah.
You saw that too, right?
Yeah, it was a squirrel.
Sorry. I just saw like a big shadow. I thought it was like a small bear.
I thought so too, but
It was like
Imagine.
really big.
Imagine.
Another
I was
one-
like ready to run out.
Bear sighting.
Another one on campus. And speaking of the great things you're doing, I wanted to talk to you about the kind of big subject here, which is what drove you to want to enter the QUNLA program.
Woo! I love it.
Take the wheel. Take the wheel.
I'll start because
Start it
I did say that's why I wanted to come to this school. When I was doing my research, I saw that they had this opportunity, and how Quinnipiac does present it was like, oh, we have all these kids that are working at these places. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be working at Disney. I'm going to be working, like, let's go. And I didn't know how hard it was. But you know what? As someone who made it through, I do stand by it. You know, when you're where you are right now, tweaking about getting the internship, if I'm still going to go, all these things are still up in the air, and it feels as though you are all on your own doing it. And that is the matter of fact. You are doing it all on your own. You're going to land this all on your own, and you're going to go. But Quinnipiac, I mean, has Andres, and
When you get there.
When you get there.
When you get there.
When you get there, he takes such good care of you because he studied film. He came to LA chasing a dream in Hollywood, and
Came from Spain.
This whole program just is him doing what he wishes someone did for him. It is so sweet, the kindness that he shows to these students. And so, I mean, obviously, before going, I didn't know that I was gonna get this sweet, nice man when I got there, but I was really excited to make connections in Hollywood and just endure the city. And me and Sam are from New Jersey. I did not think I would become West Coast trash. I am West Coast trash. I can't wait to run back. I love it there.
Yeah, it's surprising how much we fell in love with LA. We're New York City's right behind us. It's too expensive and all this other stuff. But it was no, LA was waiting for us. It was.
Yeah.
But I basically just like I saw the application. I saw Quinnipiac. It was one of my top schools because of that program. Every time anyone used to ask me why'd I come here, it would literally because of that, because of that program. And I got really lucky to work under Andres because that sounds so weird. We call him Pops. When you get that internship, call him Pops. He'll know exactly who that is.
He pays. He's the only internship that got paid.
Big boy bowling. They used to hate me. I remember because I was on the podcast. I got a check. I'm like, Sam, why are you complaining about money? I'm like, okay, let me stop. I just want to go to a restaurant with you guys. But yeah. So that was a pretty cool internship. I never really. That was my first time in a podcast world. I see it on TikTok. I have such a short attention span. I cannot watch a YouTube video more than 15 minutes. I can't. I absolutely can't. But I ended up working under. Not Bad Friends necessarily, but the girls went Trash Tuesdays, and then sometimes I would pop in and out of Bad Friends. Did some Photoshop for the thumbnails, did some video clips. It's a really good internship. They're gonna and the manager over there, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. Literally, I'm editing something for YouTube, and we're talking about an old Jay-Z album for 2 hours. He's super, super dope. Everyone there is super dope. And yeah, just the LA feel, the LA vibe, we literally just walk across the street and we're at the Grammys. It's so.
We broke in to the Grammys, is what he meant to say.
That's a story.
It's at the Crypto Center, and that is in downtown LA. And we were on
15-minute walk, Ryan.
Yeah, we're on Olive. Crypto Center's on Figueroa, and we walk over there, and there's big fences making sure that we don't get in, and.
We see a crack.
And it was literally layers of security. That was so fun. That was so surreal. There was layers of security because once we made it through the main fence, oh no, you're not there yet. There's another fence, and
there's
then
half a mile.
There was lines of limos, and then the limo drivers hanging out talking to each other. So then we're walking across all with them.
I think, Ryan, you really should envision this. Kat and I are wearing all black. I have my shades. I'm like, Kat, hold my hand. In my brain, we look like a hot celebrity couple. Yeah. We're just strolling through the street with all these members that we're just nodding our heads we belong.
Wearing a Shein dress.
And it looks good.
$8 dress.
Mind you, we came with a whole group with us, and they don't know where we are because they were just being too slow.
Yeah, we snuck away from them because we all were oh, let's go crash the Grammys. And
side quest.
I don't know if they wanted to just go to the place where the Grammys were held, or did you want to crash it? Because when we showed up,
kind of crazy.
I mean, that's not something you have to do every day.
Exactly.
Crash the Grammys.
How long are we going to be in LA? The Grammys is right across the street.
Oh, it was. I think it was February 5th. It was the first week of February, and I remember it was obviously it was last Grammys, not the one that just happened, and it was when Beyonce won most awards. And I remember that because when we were trying to crash it and walk in, they're like, no re-entry. If you're out, you can't go back in. And we're like, God damn it. But when we're just walking around all these people who have been inside, they had these really thick booklets. It wasn't even a pamphlet. It was a little book that was highlighting the night, and it said Beyonce won. And I literally go up to this woman. Just picture if this was you. I go, hi, I'm sorry. You're already disengaged. I'm like, hi, I'm sorry. Can I have that? She said yes. What?
We got two because she had a friend with her who didn't want the other one.
What? Yeah, so that was a blessing. We got those cool little booklets, and I still have it.
Me too.
Yeah. Souvenir. It was like a little table book.
Yeah.
Coffee table book. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was LA. Like take the opportunity, Ryan.
Mm.
You got to soak up every single moment you got up there.
Well, yeah, literally, because here you're playing by the book, because obviously you are your name on your resume and you are whatever you submit and like an email. But like once you're physically there, you're gonna have to sneak around, go around some cracks, and do whatever you do. Like whatever room you get yourself into, you got yourself into all on your own, and it's just
Because you're planning on going in the summer, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, and that's quite the impeccable story you shared. And how confidence and boldness can get you places.
That's just one out of.
Yeah.
When I tell you, LA was something, man.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. We went we did a lot of One Iota, and you're gonna love that. One Iota is free seat fillers, and so we were going to James Corden, Jimmy Kimmel, all those ones, and they had like special little one night only things. There was the Ryan and Kelly after show of the Oscars, where they do it in the Dolby Theater after all the celebrities left. We waited in that line from 11 p.m. and we left at 8 a.m.
Wow.
That was so surreal, but it was the day after the Oscars.
Yes.
So I mean, it was so worth it, all this silly stuff. But the one I was going to share about One Iota, this one came from Central Casting. It was American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, that was a year ago.
Today?
I'm seeing this not today, but
no, I did see that. I did see that.
That was so the show does take place at night, but it takes place at like 3 a.m. So,
because did you notice that? Have you ever watched American Ninja Warrior?
I have, yes.
It's always the sun's always
At night,
down.
yeah.
And
I'm thinking it's like a cute 7 p.m.
They want all the hours of darkness. Shooting was from like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m.
No, it
No,
was till
7.
5.
Yeah.
7. We left early.
We left at 3. I actually was like, Sam, get your keys at 3.
And then we got a flat tire. Oh.
I'm really good at changing tires. I was so excited to come back and change that tire.
I'm usually the guy, but I was so pissed off because it was freezing too.
It was a rental car on Sam's end, so it's like,
Yeah.
what? A flat tire, and it's like you would have known if you popped a flat tire on your way
I paid
there.
like $20 to repair it though.
Yeah, and that was amazing.
That was God.
But American Ninja Warrior was really cool because you want to know what? We were really lucky to be sitting so close to where the contestants are starting off at, because you'll be so surprised at how many people don't make it past the first obstacle. We were getting all these stories about this bodybuilder or this elementary school teacher, and then they won't even make it past the first thing. So all this backstory that we got probably won't even be in the show. It was interesting. Yeah.
I wonder when that is airing. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Definitely on TV.
I remember the elementary school teacher, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is going to be great. And she didn't make it past the first thing. And so for the people that are seated all the way by the buzzer, they're not seeing anything all
they're
night.
not getting crap.
Yeah,
They're not getting crap.
they were just cold all night. Oh.
Wow.
Poor thing.
And then when I turned around at all the other people, because we're cold, it's actually not fun. I'm looking around at the other people. They're getting paid as extras.
Really?
So I'm like, Sam, get your keys. What?
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
But what's really cool about like the events that we go to, it's literally like always networking. It's always networking. Like that night, we met some guy. He was pretty like obnoxious thinking about it, but he was like a producer for like.
Oh my gosh, was he standing in line with us in the
small little
in the
one?
lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just sharing too much about his life, but like I got his phone number. He said he would ever text me like something was popping up. I never heard from him ever again, but like just it's networking when you go to these things, which is like pretty cool.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Some great insight into how American Ninja Warrior
Yeah.
operates.
Yeah.
And kind of on that note about like networking, I kind of want to ask you guys about the internships you worked at while you were in LA.
No, you can start.
Can I? It has to answer the question, but I'm just gonna share Kat's story because Kat's story is so.
No,
it's
my
not
story's
funny. It's literally like unbelievable. Like it's God. I promise you, it's God.
I-
So
God
of
wanted
course
me to
you're
go
going
so
through the
bad.
process right now, taking forever just like to find an internship. I think we got like a week extended because there was a couple of people who didn't get it. Like
Yeah,
at
December
the deadline.
15th.
December 15th. That's the day. I remember because we had a celebration.
Sam had a party to celebrate going away to QU in LA, and I was invited to this party, and I didn't have one yet. And I'm like, I can't go to this party celebrating an internship that I don't have.
It's like bad.
I feel like,
juju.
But the minute she got there, she had the email. So it was okay.
But here's the thing. You texted me, man. You were like, oh, hey, is there anything else I could do? You texted me in a way that I know because I was there. And obviously you're applying to film and all this stuff, TV. I started applying to music, fashion, like everything. I know a friend in high school who was in this like corporate Hollister job, and she was like doing brand stuff, and I was like, oh, brand representative of Hollister, sign me up. I got a mall job. I got a mall job at Sherman Oaks Mall at a Hollister working the floor, learning how to work a register, and I put that in the QUCC as an internship. And Andres approved it. And because I was so, that's the lesson here. I was so on top of Andres in August, being like, hi, I'm Catherine. I want to do this. Oh, hey, Andres, I'm looking for an internship. Hey, Andres, I'm sweating bullets. I can't find an internship. Oh my gosh, Andres, don't forget about me. I have an interview. And then I said, hey, I submitted the QUCC. So I sent him like already 5 emails with my name on it. He knew that I was trying and I was ready to go. So when he sees that Catherine Tallman submitted the QUCC, he just hit, all right, okay.
Well, you put that you were a brand representative.
I was a brand representative. I get there, because the spring was from January to April. I get to Los Angeles, and I find out I was hired under seasonal hiring. So I would be losing the position that I got hired in a week at the end of January. So I just get there at the end of January, and I have until January 31st with the position. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I had one connection. I had one dream. There was this independent writer, Glenn Kirchenbaum, great man. He wrote the newest Gene Wilder documentary. And he was working on a crime documentary series. And he was like, I mean, Kat, I could help. You could help me out on it, and I'll tell Quinnipiac whatever they need to know. And I was Glenn Kirchenbaum's intern. And so that show actually ended up falling through at the strike. But I was doing like FBI research for that because it was on the railroad killer. And he was from Mexico. And he would come into the States, kill some people, and then get sent back, and then come back in under a different name. He came back in under 13 names. I think actually like 18 names. So I had all these different names, and the 40% of the budget was coming from a Mexican production company. And so they're like, find someone from Mexico who knew him. The killings happened in the 70s. So I'm like, who am I finding that could possibly talk about this? I was going into Wikipedia, seeing if the mayor was like, the mayor had a kid at the same time he would be in school. And like, I ended up just finding family members, sisters, and one sister and obviously mom. But, my internship experience was really just networking. And I learned great things from him. When I went and stayed again, I was getting other internships. Like I was watching film festival submissions, which you should really get on. You should look up film festivals and be like, hey, can I help judge? And you just get to see movies that no one's ever seen before. I've seen some really cool stuff that I really hope wins or succeeds that other people will be able to watch without me going on Film Freeway, which is the website. But I only had a real internship experience when I met Franco, which was the summertime. So that's why I gave you that link, because all the other ones weren't really real to some degree. But that's what it means to be figuring it out and hustling. I was meant to go to QU in LA, and under the circumstances, it didn't seem likely, but I was there.
She had to push.
Perseverance.
And she stayed the longest.
Thank you.
Yes.
Spring and summer.
Yeah, that's another thing I'd like to kind of ask you about is kind of how would you kind of manage being able to stay there and kind of.
I asked Andres, in between spring and summer, when does what's the in-between time? Spring ended April 15th and summer started May 20th. So that was 5 weeks with no Quinnipiac affiliation. And so I found a place to stay. I looked up student housing in the area, and there is a film school nearby in downtown LA. And I got to go into housing with other film students, and that was also really cool because I got to help my roommates on set. I was like, doing the lights. I was doing the slating. I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, film school. But that was a fixed rate of 5 weeks. So I was very lucky because what hotel is going to let you stay that long, or what lease would let you stay that short? So I got this student housing deal. And then I was like, Andres, what would it be if I were to do the program again? And there was since you're going in the summer, there's no class. In the fall, in the spring, there was a class you had to take. So I didn't have to worry about that. All I had to do was pay level again, which was the building that we lived in. I didn't have to pay for the program. I just had to pay for level. And that was it. So Andres was very welcoming to the whole thing because the summer kids usually do have a lot less. It was 5 girls and 1 boy, and they put Jordan in his own apartment building. He had his own room in his own building. He wasn't even in level.
He had a different build.
He was
the one that's connected?
No, he literally was like a few blocks away all by himself. So that was like kind of sad to some degree, but like, kind of lit to some degree. Like, it was very independent, but he was obviously hanging out with us a lot. Our sweet setup for the just for the summer was there was 5 girls, so that means how are the rooms set up? That means there's 2 doubles and 1 single, and I obviously got there first to get the single. So life was so good. We were on the 47th floor.
Ooh.
Out of 53.
I know that elevator ride.
The elevator ride was long and the view was insane. I walked out into the room and I was like, oh no, have I peaked? I was like, I'm gonna have to really hustle to achieve this again. I felt like Beyonce.
As you should.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? Some Beyonce photos, you could look at them and be like, wow, maybe I was in the same building. Because like just everything was so nice. But like, the housing that they put you in was really nice.
That hotel is immaculate. It's immaculate.
Nice. And what internships did you do, Sam?
We
weren't able to get into it. A lot of lore.
Well, I was really lucky enough just to be with 7X. Love my 7X fam. It was really cool to see comedians not only just do podcasts, but there was a point in time where they actually went on tour, like at the beginning of the summer. And they even had a little episode right where you're sitting.
They used to have a bad friend sign there.
Yeah. Right on the windowsill. So that was pretty cool. And I feel like I really connected with like most of like the hosts. Me and Bobby, like you'll see like if we're ever together in public, everyone thinks that we're beefing, but it's just a relationship for some reason. And then Andrew is actually like this big movie star.
Yeah, he's going big.
He flew out to Australia. I think the movie's coming out because I've been seeing a little press for it.
Yeah.
But it's with Zac Efron, him, and John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is this out?
No, I've seen a little bit of it.
Ricky something?
Is that
Stan?
sure? Yes.
Really?
What's it?
Yeah. Yeah. If those 3 people are in that movie, that's the movie.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So it is out.
Should be coming out soon, I believe.
Oh.
I keep seeing trailers, promotions.
Yeah.
Stuff,
So he
like
was
you
filming
said.
that like about a year ago.
Maybe that's why Andrew did that interview with Bobby, the girl that does the awkward podcast. She did one with Drake. Do you know who I'm talking about? That blonde girl. Yes.
He did one with her.
He did one with her.
Oh,
yes,
I didn't know that.
And it's very uncomfortable. She's like, can we be friends? He's like, no, you wouldn't be my friend.
I have to watch that. She's so funny. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Just seeing how like working with like actually like celebrities. Like there was one, and I feel like something so hard. It's like maybe it's not like proper for everybody else in the room, but I just know whatever I'm gonna end up doing, I'm going to be like around a lot of celebrities, and I don't really starstruck easily. Like some celebrities, I don't.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's an absolute. I don't starstruck easily. You were squealing at all F-list celebrities.
I wasn't done speaking.
Sorry.
I How dare you?
Can you what was that guy from The Grove? I'm sorry to call him a F-list celebrity, but like that one movie he was in, we took a picture with one guy in front of the Sephora.
Oh! I don't even remember his name.
Exactly. He's like, oh my god, he was in a movie I like. Like, okay. This guy was holding a really cute dog. And I go, oh my god, the dog. And he was reacting to the person holding the dog. The person holding the dog was famous. And I was like, I have no idea who that is.
Let me clear the air, because even I start. When I mean starstruck, like, if I were to see one of my favorite, like, if I ever saw Beyonce, I would faint. Like that starstruck. If I see a celeb, like, I wasn't even
Bobby
starstruck.
Lee. Bobby Lee doesn't have an impact on you.
No. Sorry. I walked in the room. Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano.
Yes.
Yeah. You and I were freaking out in a meeting.
Casey?
Yeah.
We're on the air. But, okay, let me rephrase what I just said. I don't starstruck in front of them. Is that better?
All right.
Oh my god.
I'll take it.
And
This was a
Ryan-
huge topic with Andres.
How dare you?
I'm saying this was a huge topic with Andres. Andres gave us professional training.
As I was saying, the one time that you guys may not believe me, but there was one time, and Andre's supposed to, he's like, he wasn't like having a talk with me. He was like, okay, we're gonna have a guest, and I said, who's the guest? Like, Josh Peck. I said, oh, my child, and I can't do. He said, no. I said, fine, I'm working. I can do this. And Josh Peck walked in the room. I said, hi, my name is Sam. Nice to meet you. And I just shut up the entire time. And it was just so, because I've been watching that man since I was 2 years old.
We were talking about him before, because I was talking about Quiet on Set.
Oh.
Yeah, the documentary, everything that's coming out, but
I didn't even go into it too deep, but just watch.
well, he's not on it or anything, but I mean,
Well, yeah.
obviously he's a Nickelodeon star,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah, so I saw Josh Peck. And then my job, I was doing, because Andres has a new podcast show, even though it's been out for like probably almost a year. So at the time when it started to air, I had to like be TikToker to him, what he did in the day of life. So I was really recording him. So I do have a video of Josh Peck in my phone, but it was for work purposes. So I just, I always need proof. I do. I always need proof. But just working with like, celebrities in like the real world, I guess it's a me thing, because everyone seems like they don't get starstruck. But, it's just thinking about like how you're just working in this world. Like you're not a fan anymore. You gotta get used to it. There's gonna be people walking by you. You gotta just swallow the fan pill. But if it's somebody like Beyonce, just break character a little bit. Who cares?
I mean, you're truly media trained.
Yeah.
I am.
Very well.
I am.
And I kind of want to ask you maybe something a bit more interesting. Is kind of like the kind of whole community that QNLA breeds, and how you think it'll grow in the future.
Well, I do not mean to brag, but I feel like when we went, it was the most popping group. Like
There was a lot of us, and
there
I
was
think that's
16 of us.
And I've had a lot of you on here. Like Grace, Ari.
Yeah. So Ari was on the show.
Yes, he was with
With Nick.
Julia Morley from QFS.
Oh, that's so
There in the
sweet.
capstone, yes,
Yeah.
promoing.
Of course. Mr. President, Madam President.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was like a big plus, because I feel like we all knew each other. Obviously, some of us were closer than others.
Yeah.
Obviously, we formed new relationships. So I feel like going with a big group. I mean, I don't know if I would say I wouldn't go with the big group again. I mean, I feel like it was beneficial. I mean, you have your options. You get to hang out with your roommates. Sometimes you get to be out, go to different places with people. So I really feel like that was a plus. But the minute we get back, it's like we just could not shut up about LA. Like we just could not shut up. And most of the people that we left at the time, we were all a part of Queen Bee Tonight at the time. So when we left, everyone could tell there was a void. Everyone could tell. The APs left, half the cast members left. Everyone could tell it was a void. So when we got back, it was really exciting to see everybody. It was really cool just to be with like the people that we've been going to class with since freshman year. So that was.
So
Sorry.
sweet. No, it makes me so sad because it's a year ago now. And, we hustled so much. We said this is why we wanted to come here. And we did it.
And now it's over.
And it's one of my most fond memories of college. But as someone that got to have a big group and a smaller group, the spring one was like 16. The summer one, I believe, was 7. Yeah.
Including you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 7 including me. It was 6 that were actually like, paying Quinnipiac. But we could go into one car on the summer group. We were able to travel easier. That's the only thing that was harder about the spring. We had to have cars for everybody. When we all want to go out, how are you going to travel with 16 people? So, it was kind of harder just to plan fun things. But I did love getting to bounce off of everybody's ideas, and especially that class that was in the spring and fall. It was Andres. He loves to teach, but it was a long class in the evening.
Oh, he loves him. 9:15 at the mark.
Oh yeah,
9:15 at the mark. Oh my gosh.
Not 9:15 is the minimum. Where was good nights that we went over? But who's stopping them?
Yeah. It was a very beneficial class, though. It was.
But I guess the community that came from it was very beautiful because, we lived in a building level that had other university kids as well from different schools. And so there was the Fashion Institute in the same building that we lived in. So when we went to the polls and stuff, there was other people in our age groups and that were using this bougie building as dorming. So crazy to think about this beautiful luxury apartment being someone's dorming experience. So, we were so lucky. And I ended up dating somebody from the Fashion Institute. So that was, really exciting.
Fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even had someone I knew from Quinnipiac. She had friends who went to school up in LA.
Yes.
So I even met up with them. Even the hotel people. One of us was, close to our age, followed her on Instagram. She wrote me, this note when I left. And then she voided my parking.
Yes.
So you gotta be nice to people. I'm telling you.
Always be nice to people that maybe aren't even doing anything for you, and even if they are, say thank you. If it's a janitor, if it's a crew member. This lady was the front desk of our hotel, and we loved her. And
Jen, she was my girl.
We were, it was a luxury apartment / hotel, so they did have things. So if I called and I'm like, hey, can I get a roll of paper towels? They'll come up and give it to me. Now, they didn't do that to everybody, but you got to be nice to people. I remember on the first day, everyone's very excited to be there. We're all in my room and we're talking. And I'm not going to say names. I remember being like, oh my gosh, Jennifer downstairs is so nice. And somebody goes, you know their names? Get out of here with that. And I'm like, you're a loser. You are absolutely a loser. You should maybe consider that. Yeah.
Very real.
Sorry.
It was obviously there was other things in that experience where just got to gain some perspective, but
Ryan, I hope that you know that this is really a time capsule moment because everything that's been happening is just a year ago. And me personally, I'm just seeing all the memories in my Snapchat, my memories just by myself. But this is a nice little recap moment.
It's beautiful.
I can very much tell, and that's another reason why I kind of do this. To kind of, like I was telling Kat before we started this, it's like a time capsule of recording my interactions with my friends, and now we can even double down on that by you guys going back.
Yeah.
To
you
LA.
can watch this after your experience and see. Yeah, I really can't wait for Ryan for you to go, especially since you're gonna be taking my place because you're gonna be the first. I'm manifesting it for you. I don't know if you get the confirm, but I'm manifesting for you.
We know you're going.
You're getting it. I'm sorry. And if you don't get it, I'm gonna have to call Pete myself. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm going to. But you're gonna be the first person taking place after me because they didn't have an intern after I left. So it's gonna be cool. And then you're gonna be in the fresh new studio because they moved locations. So and they have way more people working there. I'm very excited for when you go.
That would be quite the blessing, yeah.
He did say, remember he was talking to you when we were leaving the academy, he was going to, one of the grad students from Quinnipiac got a job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not an
2 people.
internship, but yes,
Yeah.
some people work there now.
Yeah. So the people who graduated who used to be us, I guess, are now full-time people there. And they even said if I, when I'm ready to move down over there, there's a job waiting for me.
That's incredible.
So, who knows? If you like it that much, you can be there full time.
And that's the hope, and that's the excitement.
Yeah.
And I especially like your story, Kat, and kind of just how far humility goes, and the interacting with people.
It's true. No,
And
thank you so much.
It's a funny story now.
Because you know what? I'm finally I have the opportunity to say it because you know what? You have always interviewed such madly successful people on this podcast. Jen, pink hair.
Yes.
I think her last name is Magnolia because she's a beautiful flower.
Molia. Very close. Oh.
She's
I got what you mean.
she. One time we had to submit our resumes for the capstone class we're in, and I remember I clicked on hers. I wanted to see. She's so successful. I wanted Ari's someone that has his QR code resume. He always has his resume on his phone.
I'm gonna talk smack about Ari real quick.
I was giving him his flowers.
Ari is we went to, I forgot what the movie was, but we went to like a little screening in LA. It was like one of the first few weeks because we went to a bunch of screenings like while we were there. Like that's what that link is for. And something, again, you got to take up the space. You got to take up the opportunity. Ari was a little just scared because we went to, it was a Netflix movie. And again, he has the QR on his phone. He has the repertoire. He has the scales. But he was just scared to talk to people. I'm like, bro, you just got to do it.
And he did. He was in the boys' bathroom.
He was. He found the editor of the movie in the bathroom, and he bumped into, because I was like, why is he still here for 10 minutes? Not even. He said, I like your jacket. That's what it is. It's just so random. I like your jacket. Thanks. Chatting him up. I'm a film student. Oh, I was the editor of the movie. Boom. And then he came up to me screaming happy. The whole car ride we're talking about it nonstop, all munching down on our in and out. And it was just like, stuff like that is just so refreshing. And you just never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to meet. You can just like somebody's outfit and they're the director. And boom, you're under his wing.
It's so important to talk to people. I was bringing up how madly successful they are because when I had my story of hustling, how am I going to make a Hollister mall job turn into something that actually has value on my resume, you know, I had all these insecurities and all this stuff, but like being successful means figuring it out. I figured it out and I feel madly successful because of it.
January from August, no one was like you.
Yeah, no, I was there for 6 months and that felt so good, and I'm trying to make that 6 months into like
I have class.
Post grad.
Oh my god, it's 7 o'clock.
Is it time for you to leave?
Let me see if she replied.
But yeah, I say we manifest things here on the Zicast.
We
really
manifest on
that.
the Zicast. Yes, we
The
do.
Zicast is powerful, and after graduation, I will be hired in Los Angeles. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. But yeah, but kind of like what you said, humility, the ability to touch lives, how important that is. It's really the most important thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I love when you had your brother on. That was really sweet.
You have a brother?
I did, yeah. I had him on here a couple episodes back.
Is it just you two?
Yeah.
Yeah, your younger brother.
How old is he?
I'm a younger
He is
sibling.
a couple years older than me.
Oh, older.
Soon. Yeah.
Oh, he's the younger brother.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
that's what Sam's an older sibling. We're younger siblings.
Yeah. All younger siblings all around.
And we all have the duo. You have a brother, I have a sister, and you have a brother.
Yeah. Do you have one sibling?
Sister.
Whoa!
Wow.
Are you
You're
the
the oldest,
oldest?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Oh, yeah,
that's
we
right.
know.
You radiate.
You're the baby. We know.
I know.
Oh, okay, guys. I do need to make my departure.
Oh, thanks for reminiscing.
Yeah, thank you, Sam.
This was so good. Zicast. Give it up for... Well,
Thank
it's not
you.
over. It's not over. Sam is over, though.
But thank you for being able to come on, Sam.
Of course. Because I got that text. I was like, oh, this is so...
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay. Oh, I'm so glad you thought of that.
Of course. You guys are a dynamic duo.
Yeah, of course. It did take me days to reply.
Oh, no worries. It was great to be able to get to talk to you.
I'm a
I know,
very...
get
to learn from
I'm
you.
a very often texter, Ryan.
Oh, no worries.
You can tell. I'm
It's-
very often... Because I responded to his message, and then I didn't respond to the message he was texting me about the internship he won, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so bad.
No worries.
But I'm manifesting that for you. You have my
you.
number. Let me know if you need help, and let me know when you get the congratulations letter.
We'll
Yeah.
do. We'll do.
You will
Thank
get
so
you.
that.
excited.
Alrighty.
Thank you for coming on.
Anytime. Zicast, it was lovely. I will see you soon.
I'll see you soon as well.
I know those look mad loud.
Have a great time in class.
I will. Hopefully.
Enjoy.
Hopefully I will. I'm
Mhm.
studying for a test.
Thoughts
Awesome.
and prayers.
Oh my goodness, I'm taking forever to leave. See you guys later.
Yeah, see ya.
Casey, it's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Bye. And I guess, Kat, we'll get back. We'll get back into
you in
things.
LA.
Yeah. So I kind of, if you wanted to add any more special memories or favorite moments you had there.
Oh, there was one that we were talking about American Ninja Warrior and meeting celebrities, breaking into places. What was one? Well, I did bring up the Oscars a little bit. That was so fun because it was right after Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ooh, Well, that was when the Daniels had the sweep.
Yes.
But we had a writing event at the Writers Guild where before the Daniels won, they were having a little conversation with whoever. That sounds so rude. I don't remember their names. But the writer of Glass Onion, the writer of the most recent Black Panther, I think it was called She Said. Was that a movie that came out in 2023? It was a woman author. She was there as well. And the Daniels were there. And they were talking. And I remember at the end, we got to mingle. I got Daniel, his last name starts with a G, to sign my book. And he signed it with a little cat. Because I was like, oh my goodness, that's my name. And so I said hi and all this stuff. And then there was a screening for Everything Everywhere All at Once at this outside venue. And my girlfriend's never seen it before, so I wanted to show her. I was like, girl, wait till you get this. And so I was like, oh, like, we'll go to this screening. And then we sit down, we get all ready, and the Daniels are there. And so I'm like, oh, I got to go up and say hello. And so I'm like, hey, I saw you at the Writers Guild. And they said they remembered.
Wow.
So that, you know what? That felt really sweet. And Zac Efron's, not like Zac Efron's, I don't know his name either, but what was his character name in High School Musical? Troy Bolton's father was there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because, that's the little bit of LA where you're like, oh my God, I kind of know you.
Oh, that's so much fun. And that's very cool. Like, I was going to announce you as a people person's people person.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes into play.
You're right.
And that's an incredible story. And then kind of like what you and Sam were talking about, the kind of power of networking, going up to people, and just how impressive that can be.
It is so nerve-wracking. Oh my goodness. I was telling you about the film festivals. And so it was around this time last year where I got involved in like watching the submissions for the film festivals. And then in November was the film festival. And I flew out to go to it. And at the end of every night, there was a networking party. And so I, the intern, want to go to these networking parties and meet people. And the only intent was to do just that, And so I'm standing in this room and I'm like, okay, where do I begin? I just walk up to a complete stranger and go, hey, what are you guys talking about? Like, it does start with I like your jacket. It does start with, I like your shoes, or what are you going to drink? Or how did you like a show? It was very nerve-wracking. I met a few people on a friendly basis, and it's not always trying to have some type of angle to it. Great piece of advice I learned from Glenn was networking is just making friends. People want to work with their friends. And so I've always gone with it with the light of I'm just making friends. I'm just trying to make a friend. And it's gotten me some great relationships. And, now that I'm a graduating senior, I feel bad having to use this friend and have introduced that angle. But now's the time. It's... I'm getting over some shame of being like, and not coming out right, being like, can you get me a job? It's like, do you have any time to join a Zoom call? Because I need your help. And it's not like your help is going to be, get me a job. It's like, do you know where I could look? Do you know anyone who's looking? Like, it's all in the relationships that are formed.
Yeah. Get those friends in high places. And all the positive things that can lead to, because I have to admit I could be a bit of a shy lad, but sometimes you just have to lock in.
I was so lucky that so many people were so nice too, because if you're a little shy, you're worried that people are going to either take advantage, step on you, or not pay attention at all. And some people just see how hard you're trying and actually empathize. And in Hollywood, so many people want to call themselves like, oh, I'm the good guy, stick with me, I got you. And it's like, why would I take your word for it? And it's like some people are just going out of their way to show you that they want you to win as well. Glenn Kirchenbaum, when he knew the situation I was in, and he's like, look, Catherine, like, I want to help you out to the best of my degree, and I don't want you to feel like you've been sheeped on an internship. Because he was having me do research and all this stuff. I was actually doing a good job at something, but he felt for me in that situation. So he called friends and he's like, hey, he tried to get me a job. And I remember telling him that I was Armenian, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, I have an Armenian friend." Oh, blah, blah, blah. And he called her just to be like, "I have an Armenian girl." And I'm like, my last name isn't even my Armenian last name, but like, if you want me to use it, it's Garabedian. But that lady, Tina Sarkansan, she is associate producer for Prometheus Productions, and yeah, she's sweet. Now I'm just her little Armenian little sister. Like, she's sweet to me, and
Wow.
you know, she doesn't have like a gig or anything for me, but she's a network, and she's probably going to be a safe space when I am working in the industry.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people see themselves in the shy kid going up to them, trying to talk to them.
Yes.
And that can pay dividends, like with you. And you never know, kind of making a strong connection with someone, the kind of roads that can lead you down.
Yeah.
And of course, this this topic is going to sound very directed at me, but kind of what would you tell people wanting to enter the QU in LA program?
Well, I want to tell you that you're doing everything right. You're doing everything right, because I will say, I thought I was doing everything wrong. I mean, even though I was reaching out to alum, I was doing this, I was doing that, but I wasn't getting results, so it felt like it was wrong. But, have a good day.
Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted. But there was someone who was accepted into QU in LA for the spring. And so that application process, I started in August. Obviously, you heard the deadline was in December. I started from August all the way to December. And, you know, Nicole did the same thing. She got her internship before October, I believe. So, I mean, I'm starting to sweat bullets. I'm starting to get really nervous. I've been at this for a while and nothing's biting. And I remember someone came up to Nicole before Thanksgiving break and was like, "Hey, did you start looking for LA yet?" And she was like, "You're screwed. You're not going. Like, if you start looking with only a month left, you're done." And I remember crying to Lila. I'm like, "Help me. Help, please." And she was like, "Catherine, I'm sorry to tell you, but like, everyone who tries to go, goes." And I mean, she said that, and I guess I was like, I hope I'm included in that. And I was, and I almost was like, barely. I know you'll make it.
Thank you. And that's exciting to know, and I'm excited for all the potential experiences I'll have.
I will say, as something to comfort you as well, I was sending out 1 million applications to stay for the summertime, and I started those applications probably in like February, so I was sending out 1 million every day, and I was radio silence until one day, I think it was the end of April or the beginning of March. Opposite. End of March, beginning of April, that I got 3 interviews in one day. So there was one day of the year where all these businesses were like, "Okay, let's go find our summer kids." So, you know, you're sending out these applications being like, why aren't they're not even looking at their applicants yet. I swear there will be one day where all this stuff comes back and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about these." Yeah.
Incredible. And do you kind of have, well, that's of course very comforting to know that it's a slow grind, but you have to stay positive and have the belief that it'll all work out.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And did you want to add anything else about your experience with QU in LA? Any kind of final thoughts?
QU in LA was the best thing to happen in my college experience. I said that earlier, but even to such a bigger degree of like making relationships, learning other people's personalities and stuff, because when you go to college, we're lucky enough to have a liberal arts college that has such a beautiful campus. We have a dining hall, we have dorms and stuff, and so this was kind of different in the sense where we don't have a dining hall, and this is living out. We're in LA, we're in the city. Some people didn't like living in the city. Downtown LA was not what people were expecting. Like, it had its own transition to it. We are very like rural over here and grew up in suburban neighborhoods, so I mean it was very different, especially the homelessness experience. Like, some people were really tweaked out, but I just learned so much, and I know you will too, and I think it was probably the most practical experience of my whole life, because when I ask people that are like QU alums and great jobs or stuff, I'm like, I know what I know now as a student in a student mind. And I know that when I work jobs and other stuff, like, I get the experience and I learn, but, like, there's so much you can only learn by getting your hands dirty. And so sometimes I'm like, I don't know enough from college, but I do. And I, like, you know, it's all about the troubleshooting and, like, just the stuff in between of assignments.
Incredible. Incredible. And kind of how long did it take you to get acclimated to the city? That kind of adds an interesting follow-up.
The city of downtown LA is, well, Los Angeles as a whole, everyone says, is a driving city. And it is. You have to really plan out your drive, so much traffic and walking around. But when you're in the city itself, it was nice to, like, walk around and find a coffee shop and stuff. Like, there was access to so much. We told you the crypto was right there. But I don't think it took me very long. I remember I was confident enough to take a bus. I mean, after taking a train. Growing up close to New York, I was like, oh, let me just use the subways. Going underground in LA was, I don't want to say dangerous, but just, like, there was more life downstairs than upstairs. So I was using the train the whole time, but the bus I started using probably only a month or two being there. And so, I mean, you get a tap card on your phone. When you go on the wallet, there's 3 bus cards, one for DC, one for San Francisco, and one for Los Angeles. So it was in my phone and I would keep refilling it. And so I felt like a local. I was really, I was figuring it out. I was putting in cute destinations to go try. You know, me and Sam were looking up everything we could. Eventbrite had, you know, parties to go to. We found like a Renaissance Rihanna party. So it was just like music that we like. And then all those little events like the live shows. Oh my gosh, Ryan. Do I have enough time to share a crazy story?
You have enough time for really anything. Because we could go beyond 7:30.
Dude, me and Sam, I wish I brought this up when he was still here. We were tricked into going to the Scientology Celebrity Center.
Oh.
We got sucked into Scientology. We were on Eventbrite, and we found a free acting class with a casting director. We're like, who wouldn't? We go, and you know what? I knew. I saw that the location said Scientology Celebrity Center, but I was just like, it's an acting class. I signed up for now. I was like, it's just there. Sam, I was like, on the way there, I was like, you know where we're going, right? He's like, no. And I was like, oh, Scientology is like kind of like, it's like kind of culty thing for like Hollywood celebrities. And he's like, what? He's very religious. He's like, what? Like, oh my goodness. But we go, and the vibes are very weird. It is like kind of very tense. We walked into like a haunted mansion. Like there's a piano playing by itself for some reason. And we walk into this room, we wait. I remember drinking a glass of water, and Sam's like, you would pray. I would pray over that water if I were you. You're drinking Scientology water. But I remember the acting class wasn't even an acting class. They took out their Scientology book and they had us go on stage and they would read us prompts. So I remember my prompt was, tell us about a time you created a masterpiece. How is that acting? I remember I was on the spot, so I started talking about a chicken parm that I made. I was like, my cooking, like, okay, like I just answered the question. I remember Sam was talking about a time he had a flat tire. We went up together, and she like, the casting director was Kathy Smith, and she is real, and she is a casting director, but she's a Scientologist. And then at the end, they had like someone come in, and they were like, basically asking for your insecurities, and then they wrote your name on it with the board. It would be like, Catherine, shame. And I was like, I thank God I didn't raise my hand. Like they were just writing down like insecurities of people, and then they'd circle it. I'm gonna burp. Pardon. They would circle it and be like, oh, there's a $50 class that would fix this for you. And then, like, me and Sam were there for hours. The party, there was the class that was supposed to go till 10, and then after, there was going to be a mingling party. And we're past 10 o'clock. So Sam's like, when are we going to get out of here? So I remember they were like, if you want to sign up for another class, go with this guy. And we're like, we're going to have to take this opportunity. Mind you, we were in a basement. They brought us to a basement. And so when we walk past the stairwell that we went down, we are at the end of the group, and we run up the stairs, like, and we put down our Scientology books, and we run out of the building. But, like, that was crazy. I've been sharing that story so much because, I didn't know much about Scientology, but they get you.
And yeah, it's just having like really kind of fun, wild experiences like that are very spontaneous, very
Yeah.
random. Not even when you were planning to go to LA, that wasn't something
Yeah.
that you penciled off, and that's kind of just sounds really fun. And yeah, kind of like you were saying, to be able to kind of live kind of on your, I don't want to say on your own because you're with other people.
Yeah.
Andres kind of looks over you, but to be able to kind of find your own agency, kind of make your own way. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
And like even getting things like groceries, that was efficient.
It was 2 blocks away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I remember it was Ralph's, and we would walk, and obviously you have to plan your groceries as to walking back.
Yes.
So, there was many times we're like lugging our stuff
Yeah.
back, but I mean, yeah.
Like the Kevin McAllister with the bags.
Absolutely, yes. And I was like taking breaks. It was devastating, but it was only 2 blocks, so we were very lucky.
Very interesting. Very interesting to know. And do you have any other story, QU in LA story?
I mean, I was just going to give you, I told the Scientology acting class, I was going to be like, there's going to be so many speakers for you to attend of directors and just so many events. It's so exciting, all the events that are going on. When I was walking around, they're always filming a commercial. Something is always being filmed.
Yeah.
In the level building that we were staying at, they were filming the latest season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And I remember going to the lobby and they're like quiet on set and it's the lobby of an apartment building.
Yeah.
So you have to say that to everyone that goes down the elevator. And obviously I'm going to be in the elevator multiple times a day. So every time I went to the end, I was like, do you guys need anything? Do you guys need water? And so I was just that
PA.
girl. Yeah, I was just that girl. I'd be like, okay, everybody good? And then by the time they were wrapping up, they knew my face. They knew I was going to say something.
Networking.
Yeah. They don't know my name or anything, but I was like, okay, I got you guys. I'm upstairs. Yeah.
Incredible. And to kind of pivot from that to kind of ask some personal things, it would have been fun to ask Sam as well. Kind of, what are some things that people may not know about you?
I do feel as though I present myself as a charismatic person, and I like to chit chat.
A people person.
I'm a people person for the people. But I do feel as though I'm very spiritual in my own way, where I just feel as though I'm not always this charismatic. I'm not always this type of person. And I used to think that was a bad thing. I was like, if I'm not being my typical self, is something wrong and all, blah, blah, blah. But I've learned where my energy is most important to be used. At times like this, I was very excited to come on air and do this with you and chit chat. And so I was getting ready in the mindset of how I'm going to be. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm in my own head too. You're in your own head. I'm in my own head. I guess I have a persona and people know that persona, but I know I'm trying to crack that within everybody that I see in the industry and all this stuff. That's why I go to the most, because if I'm not going to be the best networker or the best person to be I don't know, talk to people, even though that's something that I really applaud myself on, I'm just gonna get to their heart. I don't know, I'm gonna ask something that I actually care about, and I would rather form any type of bond than the bond that I'm specifically going for, which in most cases is a professional professional relationship.
Yeah. Well, you've gotten to mine.
Yeah. We're besties.
Yes. But yeah, but that is just so meaningful to say, kind of being in your own head. That's one of my biggest issues.
Yeah. It's so scary because you have such big passions and you have such big goals, and the success rate, parts of me wants to be an actress, and I still struggle to say that to people when they're like, oh, what do you want to be? And I'm like, I want to be an actress, but I didn't go to school for acting. I'm here studying communications media. I take a lot of social media classes and stuff, and I take film classes, and it's that's not a realm I haven't really entered yet, but I'm okay with that. But I still am working on presenting that as something this is my experience. Other people will be like, oh, you know how many actors really get paid like that? You think you're going to be Margot Robbie? And I'm like, I never said that. I didn't claim to be such, but, I just want to do what I want to do. So, I mean, I'll do my best at it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I have, again, another literally me situation.
Yeah.
That's another thing where I really enjoy acting, but it is kind of awkward to tell people that you want to do that because it comes with so many things, like you said.
Yeah.
Where a lot of kind of preconceived notions about it.
It's your life and it's your experience. So I'm starting to get just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. My skill set is unique to me. I'm not the best editor. And when I meet people who are really good at editing, I'm like, that is such a good skill. Not in a sense that I particularly wish I could, but it's like I could appreciate it. That's your thing. I don't want to be, I don't know. That's actually its own topic. I love good editing. Like, everyone does. Even if it's on, like, a reality show or, like, a documentary where, like, it could be just a funny edit of just, like, what the last person said to, like, an animal's reaction. I love good documentary editing.
Yeah.
But then just, like, creative movie editing where, like, there's a super cool transition or something. Like, that's not my skill set, but
yeah,
I still appreciate it.
It is not mine either, but it's something I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm a Quinnipiac Tonight AP, and you have to edit.
Yeah.
So it's a tough grind, but it's kind of essential if you I want to be a filmmaker.
Absolutely.
You kind of need
the basics.
Yeah, you kind of need to be able to do, or at least try your best to learn everything.
Yes.
And that's another one is trying to learn editing.
Yeah. Like holding a camera. I was like, none of this is for nothing. I'm very lucky to be having all this communications, general information, like holding a camera. I'm in the animations class that I was telling you about before we started recording, where I'm learning Adobe After Effects. I was learning Adobe Premiere to edit on before. And so it's like, I'm just so lucky to have access to this to learn from, because Adobe's expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive. So I mean, like, oh, this school.
I very much second that on all fronts. And I especially like how you talked about kind of the way that people are three-dimensional in that way. And you talked about kind of sometimes when you don't feel like yourself, and sometimes that could be hard, but we realize that we're more multifaceted than we oftentimes talk about. So to kind of build on kind of what your skills are building for you, I'd like to ask you your hopes and dreams professionally or in general.
You know what? I would love to be on screen. That's my answer. I don't know how so. I would love to be an actress in creative scripts and creative narratives. But I love hashtag in like an entertainment news journalism sense. I never took a journalism class, but I'm not going to let these things there's such a mold in my mind where I'm like, if I didn't go to an acting school, forget it. But I'm really doing a good job at like wiping that off. Like I could do anything that I really want to do. I know that. I know I can. So I would love to be on screen to some degree and doing creative work. In all honesty, I wish I had a more set answer, because here I am applying for jobs post-grad, and I'm like, I'm applying to such a range, a PA, I'm applying, because I haven't applied to anything in acting, because I want to do that obviously when I'm in Los Angeles. First, I got to get myself to Los Angeles. I don't want to move with no job. I want to have something lined up for me there. So I'm applying in entertainment, I'm applying in social media, I'm applying in PR. I'm like trying to get some type of job in the realm that I've been studying for the past 4 years, and then I'll continue with more creative passions. Like, I don't know, obviously I think that is a strong 20-year-old pipeline where like you get a job that will pay you and then you could do what you actually like. But one day at a time. One day at a time. So, I mean, right now, what I want is a degree. Yeah.
That's the plan. Yeah. One day at a time. Kind of I don't say little goals, but the goals that come along the way and that build. And that's kind of something you're talking about, being a PA while wanting to kind of become an actress. It's just getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
and being there and being active. And I know that it'll all work out.
Yep, we're going to win.
You're dry. Yes, we're going to win.
Yep. Please write me a role.
will do.
Yep.
And that's something, I want to be filmmaker, writer, actor as well.
Yeah.
And I know that, and I'm trying to do exactly that, try to do whatever I can to get my foot in the door, learn.
You want to know something?
Yes.
I learned this from a tweet, so I actually do want to get so much more research on this
Mm-hmm.
because I heard that Iowa Debris was a writer on The Bear, and her energy was just so good there. Everyone was having such a ball that they wrote Sydney. Like, I mean, obviously she was a character from season 1, but something along with her just being a writer on the show turned into her being a main character. Anything she's in, I'll be there. I love her. Rachel Sennett, the young people from Comedy Central. Such inspirations.
Wow. So it looks like you could have some great luck.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to be her friend. I'm going to manifest that too. I'm going to hang out with them. Yeah.
You heard it here first. So now I'd like to ask you what I call the golden question is what are some of your favorite movies?
What a good question. Because you know what? This spring break, I've been trying to watch a lot more movies. I watched like maybe 9. And one of them was my favorite film so far because it was Past Lives.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I have not, but I know nominated for Best Picture.
A24.
A lot of people's pick to win
Yeah.
Best Pictures. Great things about it.
It was a great cinematography, beautiful shots. And what was really cool is, like, as someone that's very close to New York, they were filming in New York, and the shots that the director chose to use were so not New York. Like, it's almost you didn't know that you were there, and I thought that was so cool because almost you could always recognize when they're filming in New York City, and I couldn't. But I'm gonna kind of spoil it in my own like degree.
Oh, no worries.
But the whole movie is leading up to this one conversation where there's these two people that didn't end up being together, and the woman married somebody else, and so now the three of them are having a conversation. She married a guy who doesn't speak the language that she is talking to the other person with, and so he was learning the language for his partner so he could kind of understand what these two are saying to some degree. But what they were speaking on was that they're kind of comfortable with the fact that they never got together even though they were in love, because they're like, whoever you've married 8,000 times in your life. And I think about that, and like the husband, when the wife went to the bathroom, was like, I never thought I would be in this situation because my wife is clearly saying that she was in love with somebody else. But he then was like, well, you and I are connected to some degree. You and I were meant to meet. Everyone that you bumped shoulders with, you were meant to meet to some degree. And so obviously taking the marriage idea and relating it to myself, I'm thinking that I've been handed this deck of cards 8,000 times, and I figured it out every single time. I could do it this time too. So whenever I start to tweak, it actually has been really calming me. I'm like, I figured this out before, I'll figure it out again. I may not know how, but yeah.
Wow. So kind of romance story in a similar vein to like a La La Land or a 500 Days of Summer.
It was an Asian La La Land. Yes.
That's a way to put it. Yeah. Any other favorite films?
Maybe not from that week. You know what? I want to rewatch Short Term 12. Rob Cohen was my understanding film professor, and he showed me that it was. He had a really cool theme for his class where it was a grandfather film and a grandchild film. Like
Yes.
it was.
I
Singing.
was in his class. Same thing. Yeah.
Oh, singing in the rain and then La La Land. He didn't change the syllabus. Did you see Short Term 12?
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody in that film at the time was anybody. Everyone was an unknown actor, and it blew up so many people like Brie Larson and Remy, the guy that has those big eyes. I'm sorry. He's very successful now. But such a sweet story about just trauma and how it affects people. And no, it was really sweet. I do like a good drama. He also showed me my favorite documentary, Grizzly Man. It's about Timothy, I was going to say Dansdale, but that's the professor at Quinnipiac, I believe. His name is Timothy, though. And he would go to Alaska for 13 summers. Every year for 13 years, he would go and hang out with the grizzly bears. And he was the OG vlogger. There was no YouTube or anything. This was like, I think 2001. And maybe way before that, but he has these beautiful shots, and he named all them. He's like, yeah, no, this is me and chocolate, and like the grizzly bear's like directly behind him. The footage is insane, but it was so funny. That was a good example of funny editing.
Yeah.
But as a film major, or I'm a film minor, but I am interested in film, and I want to watch more. I texted you that I'm waiting on a text back from Andres, and the text that I'm waiting on, I literally said, as a graduating 22-year-old, what are 3 movies I should watch? And I don't have a response yet.
Interesting. I'm very curious as to what Andres will come up with.
Because in that class, that he was filtering kids out. He was like, because it was history. He was talking about all the Godzillas and like Woody Allen clips that I remember. And he's like, I remember no one in the room raised their hand when he said, has anyone seen Pretty Woman? Is it Pretty Women? Like, like clearly I don't know. No one saw that. And he's like, you guys are, he cursed us out. And so, I do want to have a good knowledge on good films. Ryan, what's one that you love? I want to know.
That's a great question. And then there's so many. I mean, we've already mentioned it, La La Land.
Yes.
One of my favorites. It is incredible.
It's incredible. One of my friends is going through a really tough relationship with lots of challenging aspects to it, and I was going to be so mean. I was going to ambush them with La La Land, and then I felt bad by doing so, and so I took them to Kung Fu Panda. I was like, that was mean. Like, imagine showing someone La La Land for the first time because you think they need to see it. Whoa. Let them get there on their own.
Incredible, yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorites. I have a ton of others that I've mentioned on here, but I like to keep it to my guests.
No, I want one because I want to know one. What's one you think I would like?
What's one I think you would? One of my favorites is Jerry Maguire. You ever seen it?
Yes, that's my dad. My dad's always like, "Have you seen it?" And I haven't.
And it's rom-com, but it's really, really fun. There's rom-com. There's sports. It's really fun.
Andres, I think, showed us a clip from it. I swear he showed us a clip, and I think he's like, has anyone seen this? And the answer was no. So he's kikiing right now, kicking his feet.
Yeah. I mean, The Graduate's one of my favorites too. I'm trying to think of ones you would like. I mean, this is more of a fun surfer movie, but Point Break, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. That one's really fun. It's Wonderful Life's one of my favorites.
Oh,
Christmas
I do
film.
love that movie.
So those are a few that stand out to me that I think are Catherine Tallman movies.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I'm trying to think if there's more. Because, I mean, I was watching, like, newer ones. Well, you know what? Nothing wrong with a classic, because I was like, I don't know. I was going to say, I did so many projects on this. Little Miss Sunshine. A-list cast, yeah.
That's an iconic one. They're all pushing the van.
Yeah, yes. Oh, my gosh. Anything Steve Carell is in, a serious role, oh, my goodness. I watched Beautiful Boy for the first time on a flight. That was messy.
That is an interesting flight movie.
Oh my god, I was wet-faced. There was one person next to me like, oh my god.
Yeah. With Timothy Chalamet.
Yes, sir.
And even that, like you said, the stack cast with Toni Collette, Paul Dano too. Yes. That was quite the film. Very touching film. That's a good Catherine Tallman movie. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's one that my mom and I watched that. That's a good watch with your mom movie.
You know what I watched with my mom? I watched The Act with Joey King talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It's a show, but Gypsy Rose killed her mom, and so and so me and my mom watched that together. She's like looking over at me. I'm like, girl, stop.
Very fun, but I especially like. Yeah, I've been meaning to see Past Lives, and I'm glad I touched you in such a meaningful way.
It's so sweet.
And it makes me even more excited to see it.
Yeah.
And so before we kind of wrap everything up, is there anything you wanted to add?
I love that you're doing this.
Thank you.
I love this podcast. It is great for the school, let alone you. It is great for you and your career. You have your beautiful face on there.
Oh, thank you.
And I love the time capsule aspect. It's so nice. So, I mean, honestly, I just wanted to give you your flowers. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you even more for coming on, and thank you for being great friend, person, and resource in this whole process.
I want you to win so bad.
Thank you. I want you to win even more.
We're going to win!
Yes. So thank you for the fun experience, and this is one that I'll make sure to rewatch constantly because this was as fun as it gets.
Thank you. When it gets stressful, remember it'll work out in your favor. And you know, one mantra that I do always say is, "What's meant for you will not miss you."
Yes.
So I mean, when there's an interview that you're really excited about and it doesn't work out, you weren't meant to work there.
That's great to know.
Mm-hmm.
Among many very powerful lessons
Yes.
we've talked about and learned here on this episode.
You could text me for more.
Yes, will do. Okay. And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.